All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Committee of Adjustment. The meeting's called to order at 5 p.m. and I have Vice Chair Oak to my left and Member Milt Dietrich to my right. We'll move on to item number 2, disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest at this time? Oh, okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to number 3, approval of the minutes, and I'll ask the Secretary Treasurer to read the recommendation.
That South Huron Committee of Adjustment approve the March 18th, 2024 minutes as printed and circulated.
Okay, do I have a mover? Moved by Member Dietrich and seconded by Vice Chair Oak. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? That motion carries. We'll move on now to number 4, the purpose of the meeting.
The purpose of this public meeting of South Huron Committee of Adjustment is to allow presentation of applications for minor variance and to allow interested members of the public the opportunity to ask questions or offer comments with regard to these applications. Written comments must be submitted to myself, the Secretary Treasurer of the committee. Should any members of the public like to be notified in writing of the Committee of Adjustment's decision on one of the applications, they are to provide their name and mailing address on the registry located by the door, or they are to contact myself directly to be added to the registry. Members of the public do not have the right to appeal the decision. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, a specified person under the Planning Act, or public body that has an interest in the matter may appeal the committee's decision.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to item number 5, minor variance D13-MVO3-2024 out. And I'll have the Secretary Treasurer read the notice.
The notice for minor variance application MV03-2024 out was sent on March 21st, 2024 to property owners within 60 meters, 200 feet of the property, subject and to agencies requiring notice.
Good. Thank you very much. And at this point, we'll move on to the planner's report from Selena. So anytime you're ready, Selena.
All right. Thank you, Chair Neeb. Good evening, everyone. Just get my presentation ready here. So as noted by the clerk, this is application MVO3-2024. The property subject to this application is legally described as Part Lot 289 as 22R1956 Part 2 in Plan 376 in the Exeter Ward. The owner of this property and the applicant is Robert Aud. So Mr. Aud is seeking permission from the committee to replace 2 existing sheds on this property with a single garage. Here is an aerial photo of Mr. Aud's property. It is outlined in red. This property is designated residential in the South Huron official plan, and it is zoned R1 or residential low density in the zoning bylaw. Here is the photo of the subject property, and you can see the 2 sheds visible to the rear. Mr. Aud's primary residence is adjacent to the south. And here's a site plan demonstrating the proposed location of the garage. It is to be in the approximate same location as the existing sheds, while being in conformity with the other provisions of the zoning bylaw. The applicant has also included on this sketch a theoretical building envelope, and that was for the purpose of demonstrating the ability of the property to accommodate a single detached residence in the future as per its R1 zoning. I'll note that the applicant is not looking to construct a residence at this time. This was just for a theoretical submission. The next 2 slides here are the elevation drawings of the proposed garage just submitted by the applicant. There were no public comments received as a result of circulation of the application. Municipal staff have noted that an entrance permit is required for the subject property. They've also noted that should the garage be used for living quarters or for a washroom in the future, full municipal services will be required to be installed. There were no outstanding concerns other than the comments noted. So the 2 sheds currently on the property are considered legal non-conforming, and that means that while they were legally established, they are not permitted as of right in the R1 zoning today. Rather, they would only be permitted accessory to a residence. The Planning Act under Section 45(2)(a)(2) permits the Committee of Adjustment to consider permitting the use of land that in the opinion of the committee, is similar to the purpose of that of the two legal non-conforming sheds. And so this is the permission that the applicant is seeking in order to construct this garage. This is a bit different of a test than the typical minor variance, as the applicant is not seeking relief from a specific provision in the bylaw. He's rather just looking for permission to continue the use that was once legally permitted. The committee in this case simply needs to be satisfied that the new use will be similar or more compatible with surrounding uses of that of the two sheds. It is staff's opinion that the 45-2A2 test of compatibility is met. The proposed garage will be used similarly to the two sheds, and it is of a scale that is comparable to the two sheds. In addition, the applicant is looking for the more conventional variance relief to increase the lot coverage permitted for the shed from 10% to 11% of the total lot area. This has been evaluated against the 4 tests in terms of whether or not the variance is minor, it's appropriate, and is in keeping with the intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw. And it is staff's opinion that this does meet the test, given the small scope of increase and due to the site plan submission that demonstrates the ability of the property to accommodate a future residence to continue to be used for residential uses in the future. So it is recommended at this time that application MV03-2024 be approved with the following conditions, those on the screen here being that an entrance permit for the subject property be obtained to the satisfaction of the municipality, and then the 2 more traditional conditions that the proposed garage be constructed in conformity with the sketch and elevation drawings, and that the approval is valid for a period of 18 months. I'm happy to answer any questions of the committee at this time. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Selena. At this point, we'll move on to comments or questions from the public. And I'm just wondering, is there any comments or questions from members of the gallery or online? Rock on. Are there any comments or questions from anyone online? Okay. Are there any comments or questions from the committee? Okay. Quiet crowd tonight. Are there any further questions or comments? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 5.5, and I'd ask the Secretary Treasurer to propose the proposed decision comment.
So proposed for the attached decision would be 2A, no public comments were received on this application, so there was no effect on the decision. And 2B, no agency comments were received on this application, so there was no effect on the decision.
Okay, and move on to the decision. That minor variance D13-MV03-2024 AUD be approved as per the attached decision sheet. Do I have a mover? Moved by Vice Chair Oak. Seconded by Member Miltetric. Any discussion? Okay, call the question. All in favor? And that motion carries. We'll move on to item number 6, minor variance D13 MV04-2024 Vanderland Runge. And I'll ask the Secretary Treasurer to read the notice.
The notice for minor variance application MV04-2024 Vanderland Runge was sent on March 27th, 2024 to property owners within 60 meters, 200 feet of the subject property, and to agencies requiring notice.
All right, we'll move on to the planner's report. Anytime you're ready, Selena.
Great, thank you. So as noted, this is minor variance MV04-2024. The property subject to this variance is located at 183 Wellington Street West in Exeter. The owner is 267-2447 Ontario Inc., care of Al Vanderland, and the applicant in this case is Matt Runge. This application proposes to increase the maximum floor area permitted for industrial buildings and structures in the M1-4 zone that applies to the property. And this increase proposed is from 250 meters as permitted by the bylaw to 333 square meters. And this would allow for an office addition to be constructed on the south side of an existing workshop. So here is a 2020 aerial photo of the subject property. It's outlined in red again. The area in yellow that you see is the approximate location of that proposed addition. This property is designated industrial in the South Huron official plan. It's zoned light industrial special or M1-4 in the zoning bylaw. There is an existing residence, the aforementioned workshop, and a small shed on the property currently. And here's a picture of the property. We're looking southwest from Wellington Street in this case. Here's a site plan for the proposal. It shows that addition as well as parking areas. And here is the elevation drawings of the addition. So you'll note that the elevation is of the existing workshop and then as well of the addition to the south. So in terms of comments received on this one, no public comments were received at the time of writing. Municipal staff have no concerns here. The M1-4 zone, which applies to the property, does restrict the permitted industrial buildings and structures to a maximum of 250 square meters. The proposed addition would increase the area of structures to 330 square meters, hence the variance requests. When it comes to the test of a minor variance, the variance can be considered minor and desirable. In terms of scale, the increase in the size of permitted industrial structures is 83 square meters more than that which is maximum permitted. The addition is proposed to accommodate office space, and subsequently it's not anticipated to generate any additional industrial activity. Municipal staff have no concerns as it relates to stormwater management, drainage, and other site-specific factors that could be influenced by this proposal. The addition will serve to support the established industrial use. And the variance does maintain the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw. The official plan does direct this property to be used for industrial purposes, as is proposed to continue. The zoning bylaw does contain site-specific provisions under the M1-4 zone, including the scope of uses permitted and the minimum yard requirements, in addition to this maximum structure size provision that we're discussing. The application is in conformity with all of these other special provisions. Section 3.28 of the zoning bylaw does require that a planting strip be provided along the west property line where the addition is proposed, given that it abuts lands that are presently used for residential purposes. So as shown in this image back here, there is an existing tree line along the property line located on the neighboring property. And so this provision can be addressed as a condition of approval. So it is recommended that this application be approved with the following conditions. One being that the site plan be amended to contain that planting strip I mentioned along the west property line, adjacent to the proposed addition to the satisfaction of the chief building official. And then the two common conditions being that the addition be constructed in conformity with the sketch and elevation drawings, and that the approval be valid for a period of 18 months. I'm happy to answer any questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Selena. Are there any members of the public in the gallery or online that have any questions or comments for the committee? Okay, seeing none. Are there any questions or comments from members of the committee? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask for the third time. Are there any comments or questions from any in the gallery or any members? Okay, we'll proceed on to the next item, which is the decision, and I'll ask the Secretary Treasurer to propose suggestions on the motion.
So suggestions for the decision for approval. 2A, no public comments were received on this application, so there was no effect on this decision. And 2B, no agency comments were received on this application, so there was no effect on the decision.
Okay. Thank you very much. And the decision that minor variance D13-MV04-2024 Vanderland Runge be approved as per the attached decision sheet. Do I have a mover? Moved by member Dietrich and seconded by Vice Chair Oak. Any discussion? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? That motion carries. And we'll move on to item number 7 now, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Vice Chair Oak, seconded by member Dietrich. All in favor?